Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Kyra and today we are doing a get ready with me featuring a full face of nothing new. I'm not for sure who originally kind of coined this concept, but the person that I see do this video relatively frequently is Allie Glines. I love her. If you haven't watched her channel, she is an absolute sweetheart and she focuses very heavily on drugstore makeup in her channel. On her channel. I just wanted to do a full face of products that I haven't been reaching for today, and these are all products that are absolutely not new to my collection. So if that sounds like fun to you, then let's go ahead and get into it. Alright, so I've already primed my face with the Too Faced Primed in Peachy primer. I like to let my primer set for a little bit, so I went ahead and did that off camera before I started here. This is definitely nothing new to my collection. This is my Holy Grail matte primer. For foundation, if we have enough, is the NYX BB Cream. I have mine in the shade Natural. It's very dirty and I keep thinking there can't be any more, but it's like it reproduces overnight. And this BB cream is definitely nothing new for me. This is my second or third tube of it. I've recommended it to quite a few people because I love this. It's one of those things that doesn't skimp on quality from the drugstore, in my opinion. I think this is every bit as good as my Bare Minerals Complexion Rescue Tinted Hydrating Gel Cream. I would not repurchase the Bare Minerals. The Bare Minerals is really nice, but I actually like the formula of the NYX one just a little bit better, which is never a bad thing because the NYX one is far more affordable than the Bare Minerals one. But as always, I'm pretty glad I tried it, you know. I like trying new things, and so I continue to do that, but I also keep my Holy Grails on standby. Like I said in my intro, I just think this full face of nothing new concept is a great way to shop your stash. I particularly, this time, a lot of this, or quite a bit of this I should say, is things that I don't reach for very often. And I think that's the greatest place to start when you're going to do a full face of nothing new, or you're looking to freshen up or shop your stash. I like to think, what have I not used in a while? What are the things that make me feel guilty just sitting there languishing in my collection? And that's quite a few of the products that I chose today. For concealer, my oldest concealer is the FAB Bendy Avocado. I have mine in shade 3, and I love this concealer. Very, very hydrating. I probably could use shade 2, especially as my skin starts to lighten in the coming cooler months here in Colorado. So, you know, that may be something that I purchase in the future. But right now I have some really great concealers and they're all drugstore. If it's up, I'll link it. If it's not, it's coming. But in my August in review video, I talked about one of those drugstore concealers that I really, really like. So always a good option. This Bendy Avocado is definitely the most hydrating concealer I have ever tried. Sort of a quick honorable mention is the number 7 Perfect Light Pressed Powder in Translucent. Looks like this. I'm just going to use my finger and a little of this to go ahead and set under my eyes. The only thing I'm going to use in my brows today, besides the spoolie, is the NYX Tinted Brow Mascara in the shade Brunette. I've been kind of digging just a very natural brow look. My brows are a pretty good shape at the moment, and so I've just been feeling just lighter, a little bit more natural makeup over the last couple of weeks. So we're just gonna go in pretty easy with this brow mascara. It's a little bit messy because my hands shake uncontrollably always, but we're gonna do our best job, and the more we use it, possibly the easier it will get. Could happen. And that's pretty much it. Kind of feeling lazy about the brows lately. So there they are, and that was nothing new. For powder, I'm going to go into the Pretty Vulgar, the Powder Room Matte About It Translucent Setting Powder. This comes with a mass quantity of product, 25 grams. That's insane. This is what it looks like. And this is one of those powders where less is very much more, especially when working with a tackier or dewier foundation like this BB cream. So hopefully we're going to go in low and slow. We'll give it a shot. But this is why I went ahead and set my eyes with the other powder. I am not looking for a matte powder under my eyes. That would completely defeat the purpose of having the Bendy Avocado concealer. I remember the first time I used this powder, I was like, whoa. And I probably should have been working on this powder through the summer when I'm needing more of a matte look. All right, next for bronzer is a palette that I've thought about decluttering many a time, and that's the Tarte Clay Play Volume 1. I had a complete brain fart this morning about what this was even called. That's how long it's been since I've used it. Looks like this, and I think I'm going to use like a combination of these two bronzers right here, which are called Terracotta and Desert. I feel like this one might be a little too warm. I don't know. We'll find out. Still smells like chocolate. Still has a ton of kick up. But, you know, I bought this palette at a time where at the very beginning of my journey in beauty, when I really didn't have a lot of makeup. I think at that point I just had maybe the Jaclyn Hill palette, and I'm patting out my smile lines, and the Sweet Peach palette, and maybe my Lorac Mega Pro 2. Ooh, that got heavy. We're gonna bronze today. So I don't know, I thought this would be perfect. I was like, oh, all the neutrals I'll ever need. And of course, this was this was before I knew that every brand puts neutrals in just about every palette. So, you know, you live, you learn. But it is a nice quality palette. I just don't reach for it because I don't have a need to reach for it, because so many of my palettes have the neutrals that I need. So for blush, I picked a blush that I never use. It's beautiful. I love the color. I love the formula, because my other shade in this blush, it's in my top 3 and I love it. And they are the e.l.f. online only blushes. But this is in the shade Berry Mary, and she is very pigmented. There you go. So I love this color though, and based on what I think I'm going to do on the eyes, we're going to give this puppy a shot. Look at that. Ouch, bonk. I'm going to shake it off and do the hokey pokey. Maybe put some on the back of my hand here and go in. See? Right off the back. Pigment. I just think it's such a pretty, it's kind of, to me it's like somewhere between a berry and a plum. I guess on my skin it does look quite berry, but that's not very unusual. For whatever reason, even cool tone blushes tend to pull a little warm for me. I feel like it almost has a greeny gold type shift reflect to it. It wouldn't show if I held it up to the camera, I don't think. So, I don't know. It does look beautiful on the skin though. It's that same, wow. It looks like I went ham, but I promise my face will absorb most of this.
Alright, short commercial break while I go turn on the air conditioner.
Alright, next is a beautiful highlight, and I don't know why I don't reach for it, other than I do have formulas that I prefer. Please don't throw things. It is the BECCA Shimmering Skin Perfector in the shade Vanilla Quartz. See, I have a little dip in here. I do like this. I just find with BECCA highlighters, I don't know. I just don't always love the way that they sit on my skin. But we're going to use this one today. And this is, you know, it's a really beautiful color. I feel like it's pretty versatile, and it almost kind of goes with anything that you would pair it with. Alas, I do not use it a lot. I think the BECCA formula is very soft. Like, I feel like their highlighters feel like really soft, beautiful, metallic eyeshadows, which is great, but if any of you have ever used eyeshadows on your face as highlighters, you probably know that sometimes they can take a little extra work and, you know, to blend them in, and that's okay, but sometimes I'm not looking for a little bit of extra work. Now we're going to go into my Hourglass Ambient Lighting Powder in the shade Dim Light. I love this. It gives a beautiful luminosity to the skin, and especially when I'm working with products that might be a little harder to blend or what have you, I like to go ahead and dust this over those points of my face. Before we get into eyes, I'm going to go ahead and set my face. I'm just really going to set down the powders, especially with that Pretty Vulgar powder that we used today. And I'm going to use, I don't know why I'm holding it up because this isn't it, I'm going to use the Badescu facial spray with Aloe, Sage, and Orange Blossom in my trusty Superfine Mist Cover FX bottle. And then I'm going to just take my sponge and lightly tap over as the fans surrounding me help it to dry. Another thing that's definitely not new to my collection is my Urban Decay Primer Potion. I have the anti-aging version because every little bit helps, and when I originally tried the Primer Potion, I tried this formula. It was like a freebie or free gift with purchase or something, and I really liked that one. It doesn't feel drying on my lids or anything of the like, and it really works. I don't ever have creasing or fading issues with most eyeshadows. If you've been on my channel for a little while, this may bring a chuckle, but the palette that I've been dying to use finally is the Lorac Mega Pro 2, which was my Pan That palette for 2018, and this is the first time I've used this palette this year, I'm fairly certain. For some odd reason, I'm craving a purple and green look, as well as, I can't remember the video or the palette or anything where I was inspired, but I've been really inspired and wanting to do a lavender, like, crease situation. So this is my only palette that has a lavender in it. So we're going to start with that. I'm going to try and really pack that on into the creasel region, and we'll go from there. So the shade I'm using is called Lavender, and I really and truly do love this palette. Like, I really enjoyed panning this last year. This is not packing quite the lavender punch that I was hoping it would. If I were to try this again in the future, I would start with a white base. So I cannot decide if I want to go straight into forest, this forest green up here, or if I want to do a little of purple in the crease. Super imaginative names in here. Just putting that out there. So I think I actually will go in with purple next. And I don't even know if I used that shade at all last year. My goal was to hit pan on 4 to 6 shades. I think when I originally started the project, though, I originally thought I was going to hit pan on every shade. In a dream world. So, if you were going to do a full face of nothing new today, what would you use? You could tell me the palette, you could tell me all of it, whatever you want. I'm just always curious of the things that people reach for when they're not reaching for their newest makeup. Yes, yes, yes. We're going to go into Forest here. We did a teeny tiny brush. This little domed guy right here. I'm going to start by stamping this on the outer V. Starting, of course, as far away from the purple as I can, and then I will gently blend myself up toward the crease, just barely letting them meet. And I like that. I like how that looks. It's not super green looking, but I'm hoping with the lid shade that I chose, it might become more apparent. Alright, and then taking the teeny tiniest tapered crease brush that I almost threw, I'm just barely going to take that between the green and purple. Alright, before we get into the lid shade, another thing that is definitely not new to my channel is the NYX Glitter Glue, and I have most recently been using this with all of my, don't dig your finger in the black, with all of my shimmer shades. I might need to put subtitles on this video. The shade I'm going into is definitely a favorite in the palette, and it's this one right here called Aloe. And it's just kind of a green, I don't know, green, gold, gray situation. I don't know. It's definitely green though. And I thought this green, when I pictured it with the lavender, I really liked how that looked in my mind. I feel like I want a little something to come up into the lavender area. I think the girl for the job is going to be this shade right here, which is Soft Plum, another favorite in this palette. I'm using this angled brush. I'm going to turn it upside down, start it at the inner corner, and just bring it up a little bit. And last but not least, my favorite inner corner highlight of all time is this shade Prosecco. And that is definitely one of the shades that I hit pan on last year. And you need so little of this, so I'm gonna really try and buff that in and bring it just around the tear duct a little bit. Very brightening. What do I call it? Champagne? Pinky champagne? Well, so that's the end of Lorac Mega Pro 2. That was fun. I'm glad that I did decide to go with that palette. I think we're good on blush. I think I'm going to go ahead and finish up the eyes and come back for lips. But before I do, I will tell you what I'm going to use. And that is the Essence Extreme Lasting Eye Pencil Waterproof in the shade Nighttime Jungle. This is Army Green. And then this is the Peachy Eye Bright Liner in the shade Nude. And then for my lashes, definitely not something new to my collection. It is my holy grail, 100% favorite mascara, if only it wasn't so expensive. And that is the Marc Jacobs, what do we call this? Velvet Noir Major Volume Mascara. Nothing new to my collection is my #1 favorite lip liner from MAC, and this is in the shade Whirl. It looks like so. And then a lip gloss I had prior to my journey in beauty but lives on in my collection is the Bare Minerals lip gloss in the shade Temptress. This is a beautiful shade. It's very similar, I feel like, to the Berry Mary blush, kind of plummy with like a goldy something reflect. And I'm not generally into metallic lips. In fact, not at all. But I love this lip gloss. So hopefully you can see it does have a cool tone, kind of plummy base, but it has a warm reflect, just like the blush. Speaking of blush, I'm just not happy with this. See if we can zhuzh it up a little bit. All right, here is the final look. I love how this came out, if I'm being honest. Yes, I'm a supermodel. My hair is blowing in the wind. Anyhow, I love how this turned out. Still undecided on this blush, although it is beautiful and it is unique to my collection. I don't think I'll declutter it right now, but I always think it's a great idea when you're feeling like you want something new to go into your collection and intentionally pull out the products that you have not reached for in a long time, if there is such a product. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for spending part of your day with me here today. And with all of that said, I hope all of your makeup days are absolutely beautiful old makeup days. And I will see you in my next video soon.